Hello, welcome Facebook. Hi Jamie.
Hello.
Nick's here from Rad Grapes.
Hey guys.
One of our favorite salespeople. We have a lot of favorite salespeople in wine because we really source some really cool wine.
We only buy from our favorite salespeople.
We only buy from, exactly. If you're not our favorite, chances are we're not buying
There's something
from you.
to be said for relationships.
It's all
Absolutely.
We're
It's
big
all
on,
about relationships.
Yeah, we're all big on relationships.
Amen. Cheers.
So we need your help picking a burger for our menu because we would like to do a couple more burgers on our menu. So leave some comments of some ideas, and if we like your idea and we run it as a special, we'll actually buy you one. We'll send you a gift card to come in and get that burger that was your idea. The big picture on the burgers, though, we have this contest.
Why does it show up backwards?
It's just the way.
Somebody asked that.
Yeah,
the other day.
Paul asked it. So burgers for a year. Win burgers for a year at Aroma Time. We source all of our beef, our ground beef, from a local farm up in Stanfordville. In Dutchess County. They're all pasture-raised animals. Small farm, they only do about 25 head a year. You haven't been there. I have been there. Been there, paid Travis a visit. Really nice operation. All pasture-raised. Even the water that is coming from their own spring on their land. So go follow the link that's on this Facebook Live. Hit that link. Go to our website. Fill out the information, and you'll be entering our contest. We're drawing the winner, I think, August 15th.
Win a burger for a year.
Burger for a year. But we got a hint. If you go register, we're going to send you something anyway, so you're going to be a winner anyway, because we don't believe in having losers in any of our contests or anything we do. So everybody's going to get something. You might not get the year's worth of burgers. So we're tasting some wine today. First off is Prosecco. And before we went live, Nick, you were saying that 80% of sparkling sales in retail now is Prosecco?
From what I can attest to, from what I see across New York State, in some places even greater. Champagne prices have gone up. Champagne has fallen out of favor a little bit because of pricing. And at the same time, I think that Prosecco is a little more palate friendly for the average American palate. It's a little more fruit forward, sometimes slightly sweet.
Not as yeasty as champagne.
Not as yeasty, correct. Perhaps not aged as long. It's a little flirtier, a little lighter, a little less serious than champagne. And I think the American consumer, or the New York consumer for sure, has taken a kin to it. As I say, from what I've seen, sales retail are massive. The vast majority of what is sold retail in terms of sparkling wine is Prosecco, a little bit of Cava, and then, Cremant, Bourgogne, Cremant Alsace, maybe some...
Yeah, the Cremant Alsace
wines.
is one of my personal favorites.
And the other thing that is favorable when it comes to Prosecco is price point. That retail, you can find wines easily, in the $12 to $15, $16 range, and
right,
good quality, the tasty. I find a lot of Prosecco a little too fruit forward, a little too sweet. That's why I've been picky in terms of how long it took me to find ours. Gardiz is actually from the DOC area of Prosecco.
I would agree with you that Prosecco does tend to have a fruit forward, not sweet, but fruit forward compared to champagne. It's definitely compared to Cava.
Well, inherently there is a touch of sweetness, like this being an extra dry. There is a touch of measurable residual sugar, like you would have in an extra dry versus a brut champagne. But I think it doesn't have the headiness, the yeastiness. The structure is different. It's a little bit lighter on the palate. And at the same time, I think the fruit is a little bit lighter and livelier. There's almost like sometimes a tropical component to it.
Absolutely. So, Prosecco being basically a version of it's Italian sparkling wine. Can't call it champagne because it's not from Champagne, France. We've had Prosecco since we opened. It's always been, we have By the Glass, and it's our number one seller. It actually, so By the Glass, we have champagne, a real champagne. We have Prosecco, and we have Cava. And the Cava is the least expensive. The Champagne's the most expensive. The Prosecco easily outsells both of those other categories. So the consumers are voting.
They're aware.
And the nice thing is, when we go to a restaurant, for $35 you can get a bottle of Prosecco. Right? Yeah. That's what our Prosecco's priced here. For $35, you get a bottle of Prosecco. I like Prosecco because it's lower in alcohol, and especially if you're at a wedding, you can always have a drink in your hand and always be in control, but always have a drink in your hand. So that's I like the Prosecco aspect of that.
Who told you that?
Did you?
Yeah.
You did.
I used to do that all the time. Because then I could just have a little bit more, but I never felt.
Well, since we're talking sparkling wine, fun factoid. Do you know why everybody gets so tipsy so quickly on sparkling wine or champagne?
No.
It's because the CO2. It helps carry the alcohol much faster into your bloodstream through your stomach.
Really?
Yes.
So it acts as a carrier.
It actually is a carrier. So you have a
You
couple
get
of
tipsy,
glasses.
you just don't get drunk.
Well, it depends. I've been to some company parties where after 2 glasses of champagne, some people a little loopy. But
That's funny.
Anybody else drinking wine today? What's everybody drinking or gonna drink or what's your favorite prosecco if you like prosecco? Don't forget, leave some comments on your favorite burger. An idea for a burger. We're looking for ideas for burgers for our menu, for our specials, and if we pick your burger to run as a special, we'll buy you one of them. We will send you a gift card to come enjoy your burger here at the restaurant.
not sure if I brought that up.
I've never seen this one.
5th generation family estate, and I'm out of the Pinot Noir right now, but I have more. I initially brought in just a Riesling and Pinot Noir.
Okay.
They're literally at the foot of the Vosges Mountains in Alsace.
Alsace French, Riesling.
Correct, Alsatian Riesling. I think it's a 5th generation estate. The first is an F-U-R-S-T. Again, it kind of gives me that sense of what off-dry should be. I feel the term off-dry has been somewhat bastardized lately, where we tend to be drinking wines that are a little bit sweeter than we should, considering what the term off-dry means. Just a touch of residual sugar. I believe this has less than 1%. You even on the nose get a touch of petrol. What I love about it the most is the back end of the palate, where you can really taste the blue slate that permeates what is underneath our vineyards in Alsace. Same way some types of the Rhine, you get that red slate or the gray slate. Blue slate is what you'll find in a lot of parts of Alsace, and gives you this beautiful, very rich fruit mineral combination.
Yes,
Very minerally.
I like the fruit mineral combination. I think that's why I'm drawn to Alsatian wines. I really like.
They're palate friendly. There is a touch of residual sugar. Very lively, kind of dances on your palate. And I think given the acidity and that beautiful mineral content, it's a wonderful fruit wine.
Yes.
It's for me, it's a very exciting Riesling.
Lobster, shrimp.
Big fan.
Yeah.
And Riesling by itself, as we know, is one of those noble white wine varietals where without oak, it can offer you quite a bit of complexity, quite a bit of length, quite a bit of structure.
I never thought about it that way.
It is.
Yeah.
I mean, if you think about, what was drank before Burgundy throughout the, the royal courthouses all throughout Europe, it was Riesling originally.
Interesting.
Dating back to 11, 12, 13, 1400s before, Burgundy or Bordeaux ever emerged. And then Burgundy came through sort of the Renaissance, 16th, 17th, 18th century. That's kind of where it came to being. But what people drank in Europe, over 1,000 years ago was probably more so Riesling than anything else.
Wow.
And it is considered in wine circles one of the most noble, if not the most noble, white grape varietal, because it has the ability, in a very simple and refreshing fashion. It's refreshing as a white wine should be, but it also offers you this depth, this concentration of flavor, great length, complexity, without being heavy-handed, without the use of oak.
Yeah. And of course, folks, Riesling does not have to be sweet. You have some really nice dry
I think
Rieslings.
that's what you were saying before.
The people
about-
think Riesling, I don't drink Riesling because I don't like sweet wine.
The problem is that the sweeter you get with Riesling, you have a more accentuation on the fruit nectar and the sugar and the sweetness. You still have aromatics, but you're not going to get the aromatic richness I think that you get from drier wines or wines like this that are just slightly off dry.
Right. I mean, I love all types of Riesling. I think there's a place for all types of Riesling,
even
all the way to the dessert wines, to the nice dry wines, and I like something a little in between, but closer to dry. I like to know the fruits there. I like to know the mineralities there. I like to know the fruits there. I mean, I like that slightly acidic. Like when I'm drinking wine, Finger Lakes Riesling, I like that semi-dry. What you would call semi-dry.
Makes you smack
yeah.
your lips. Yes.
Yeah. It's almost like a
this
kumquat. You got
that's
the
correct. That's what attracted me to this one. I thought it was very clean, very well done, and you want to take another sip. I think that's part of having a wine that is drinkable. You need to yearn for that. Wow, I'll take another glass.
to have another glass. And I think that's the most important thing. Like when we go when we go out to a restaurant, we want to taste. Can I give me a little taste of that? I want to make sure that I like what you're pouring.
And it's so nice when people actually do that. They have a policy of, oh yeah, absolutely, we'll pour anything for you.
Right.
Pour
We
you
have that
taste
policy,
of
and the
whatever.
fact that they order Chardonnay here, and they go, I want a glass of Chardonnay, we'll taste Chardonnay. No, the customer say, no, I want Chardonnay.
We taste mine.
I say, I want you to taste it because I want to make sure you're happy with our Chardonnay. There's nothing worse than getting something in your glass that you're not going to be happy with.
Correct.
I want you to drink 2 glasses, not suffer through one.
And at the end
I
of the-
just taste people automatically. It's
It's-
kind of a.
I think it's
if
fantastic.
They're ever at the bar, no matter what.
No matter what.
If they're at a table and they're hesitant.
If they order a bottle of Chardonnay, a glass of Chardonnay at the table, you walk over with the glass and the bottle, you pour a little taste, and oh, that's great, then you pour the glass right at the table.
Yeah, I think what
It's
Jamie
so
says,
easy.
even your servers should be aware if there's a bit of indecisiveness.
Yep,
Say,
just
hold on,
taste
I'll
it.
bring you a taste. Done.
They're pretty.
Then
They're pretty
your
good
palate
at
will
that.
never lie to you.
Never.
One of my favorite sayings.
But they always taste one sip and then they say, I don't like it. I say, no, take another one.
Yeah, first
Because
sip.
one first sip is
I
not
just brush
always-
my teeth.
Yeah.
You can't judge
You
wine from
cannot
its
judge
first,
wine from
first
the
sip.
first sip, no.
Never judge by your first sip. That's
make sure I
that's the
remember
number one
that.
rule of our number one rule in wine tasting.
Some wines I give nicknames to, as you all know.
Oh, the Vouvray.
We love this one.
I know. Well, it's a reminder again. This is kind of like a key lime meringue pie, is what I call this. It's just got this beautiful. Chenin Blanc, I think, is often ignored as
What was-
Sancerre, other Sauvignon
Right.
Blanc based wines.
What
from
was the
Loire.
retail price on that Riesling we just tasted?
Retail price on that Riesling would be about $17 on the shelf,
Okay. Now we're on a Vouvray, Chenin Blanc,
as in a retail store.
retail store. Chenin Blanc, Vouvray. Vouvray is a region in
Probably
France.
about the same price point.
Yeah,
Yeah. This is so good.
it's lip smacking good.
Miss you and your fantastic restaurant.
Hi Scott, how's it going? From Arizona.
Oh wow, well, it's worth the trip.
Hi, Scott.
You should taste the brisket I just tasted a minute ago that's been smoking for 18 hours. Well worth the trip. Get a ticket now.
Yeah, we have 120 pounds of brisket that just came out of the smoker. We started yesterday at 6 o'clock.
For 2 parties this weekend and for the restaurant.
And for our menu, it's always on our menu, the brisket, yeah. And it's really good. Nick was here, perfect timing.
Oh yeah.
He
I
walked
know.
in, I was out at the smoker picking up the lid, and
I pulled up before you guys came back, and that smoker smelled so good. I literally parked right next to it. I'm like, what is inside?
Good stuff.
That was a rare treat. That was awesome.
what is this Vouvray retail for?
This is about the same price point as the Riesling that we just.
Okay.
I like the fact that it's old school. It's 12% alcohol. Everything is based on fruit, aromatics, acidity. There's not much else. You get this creamy edge. It's just so palate friendly. It is
It's delicious.
Yeah.
drinkalicious.
Yeah, Vouvray is one of my...
And I think Chenin Blanc really gets short shifted. There's so many people that really don't even know. It doesn't get the viewing, the exposure that Sauvignon Blanc gets.
Not at all.
Fumé, Sancerre, other Sauvignon Blancs from Loire Valley, and Vouvray, when done right, is absolutely fantastic. So,
44.
$44 on the list.
It's a great
Delicious.
bottle of wine for
Absolutely.
$44.
Yeah.
Meant to be shared.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You can really just, you can smell like that candied lime on the nose.
Oh, it's like
Yeah.
it's key lime.
Yeah.
Totally key lime.
Maybe we'll drink a bottle of this later. We're closed today. It's Wednesday.
I mean, this
Any of you thinking of coming in tonight? We are
This to
closed.
me
It's
is like
Wednesday
in
night.
summer. You think you know the Australians say shrimp on the barbie. I love doing this spicy dry
I was
rub
just
on
gonna say
shrimp
that.
and just literally shrimp. So you can like get your hands dirty with
yeah, you pull
with
it,
with,
yeah.
with,
With
with the
this-
With the shells.
with the shell still on and like drinking this out of even if it's a plastic cup.
Right, even if it's-
And
yeah.
it's sitting on your deck.
Yeah.
It's just phenomenal.
I've learned to appreciate wine more and more without a traditional wine glass. Just the fact that I'm not here and I'm somewhere
good wine.
relaxing, and no matter what the glass is, it's irrelevant these days. When we just traveled to Baltimore, we took wine glasses. We're those type of people that take that Riedel wine case with us. The
I have
glasses.
those. Those are the ones I bring to my Jets tailgates. I have two of them. That's where I bring the
So,
glassware. Yeah.
but that's only when we drive in a car. But when we fly somewhere, we don't have the luxury of bringing nice stemware with us.
You're not
So-
flying in your own private jet, I guess.
So it's like, you know what, you're in the hotel room, and it's like, this is the glass, this is, the first thing we do when we go to a city and when we travel is we go to a wine shop, we go to Whole Foods, we go somewhere that has a good selection, and pick up some local beer. Depending on where we're traveling, sometimes local wine, but not much, because that's a little more hit or miss most.
Depends
likely
where you are in the country.
Depends where you are in the country. We were in British Columbia a couple years ago. I was blown away by the Rieslings.
Not just Rieslings, but I mean...
There were some other grapes. Yeah, I was blown away by what they were doing. I had no idea.
In my view, British Columbia, given climate change in about 30, 40 years, is going to be the new Napa. Napa's just going to become way too hot for Cabernet and Chardonnay. And
we were in...
That's just my 2 cents.
We're in British Columbia. We were in Vancouver.
Yeah.
I didn't realize...
The Okanagan Valley, right?
Yeah, I realized it didn't snow. It doesn't snow in Vancouver.
No.
Up in the mountains it snows, but in Vancouver it doesn't get that cold.
Climatologically speaking, west coasts of continents tend to be a little bit milder. You'll find the same thing like the fjords of Norway. Everybody thinks, oh, it's Norway in the middle of winter, and it's relatively green. Northern Spain the same way. So most of the, whether you're Atlantic or Pacific, if you're on the west coast, you tend to have a much milder coastal climate.
Yeah.
Interesting.
And then once you get elevation from the clouds, and then you get snow up in the Sierras and the Siskiyous. So next. Do some reds. Did we taste this already or no? I can't remember forgetting. Oh, this is not just. This is Vieille Vigne, old vine Beaujolais from Jean Saint-Barbier. This is again, I think 5th generation since 1850. And the key is that the age of the vines. In order to be labeled Vieille Vigne, you must have at least 50-year-old vines.
50-year-old vines.
It's very rare for Beaujolais to be labeled as such because most producers will use a Vieille Vigne as a cru. Whether it's Bruy or Saint Amour, or
one of the 9,
one of the crus. One of my favorites tends to be Bruy. Most of their land holdings are in Bruy. There's a nice little inscription on the back. Sometimes people put stuff on back labels that makes no sense, but in this instance, it's a quote from L'Hôtelier Française, which is basically the hotel, restaurant magazine of France, if you will. And basically the quote says, could compete with a lot of neighbors' cru wines, and that's the way that I felt. I'm not a Beaujolais fan personally. This is the one I love. There's no bubblegum, there's no strawberry banana. It's an immense amount of complexity, aromatics from a lilac, like the whole range of purple, from lilac to African violet. It's amazing. It's very fleshy, kind of meaty. It's phenomenal. It's such great summer drinking for me for reds because you're not getting the weight of a heavy red wine, yet you're getting the complexity, the body, the length. You're just not getting no tannin, no structure. It's just delightful and can be drank slightly chilled. Actually, I would almost prefer it being slightly chilled. I think it's fantastic. Salmon, tuna,
absolutely.
And, off the grill, even
you
lamb
can make
chops.
a nice red wine sauce with this, a nice Beurre Rouge with this for salmon.
It's so rich in terms of flavor and aromatics.
This is really, I'm not that I'm not a Beaujolais fan.
Neither am I. Right.
I just don't drink typically Beaujolais. I would never go to a restaurant and order Beaujolais.
Do you know what my giveaway usually is?
Just so everybody knows, Beaujolais is Gamay.
The grape itself,
the grape
correct.
is
and Beaujolais as a region is just to the south of Burgundy.
Yeah.
My measure usually
Marcia's
is
saying bring back the Portobello burger.
Oh, great idea, Marcia.
As a vegan option as well. Maybe you'll have to add a couple of new burgers.
With the feta and the roasted peppers.
I eat that. Heck
yeah.
Yeah.
I forgot about that. Thanks, Marcia.
Yeah.
We might have to buy you a Portobello burger.
I think that's a great suggestion, by the way.
Speaking of burger,
another burger.
Greg Burger's on.
Greg Burger.
And a vegan burger.
I'm going to wait for your comments. I want a burger.
Greg, what's your favorite burger?
Greg.
Greg, we're tasting some French wine right now. So pass that on to
Jenny.
Yeah.
I have a meeting with Jenny tomorrow.
Beaujolais.
Beaujolais not being one of my favorites, the reason that I've learned to like this wine and love it so much is because being in the business, we get home and I will have multiple bottles open. And like my diet changes with temperature, climate, hotter, you tend to eat lighter, I find that my palate goes the same way. That I want something red tonight, full of flavor, but I'm really not in a Cabernet mood because I want to sit out on the deck and I don't feel like after 2 glasses I want to feel like somebody hit me in the side of the head with a brick.
Yeah.
You want, still, and this, it just has so much flavor to it. I, not the Beaujolais fan like you, Marcus, find myself grabbing for this out of my wine bag very often over the last couple of months since we've added it in the fall. So,
Plain broiled with gorgonzola.
Gorgonzola. Well, we already do a blue cheeseburger.
yeah, but it's not a
It's not gorgonzola.
not gorgonzola.
So, and the blue cheeseburger is so popular. Blue cheeseburger with roasted tomatoes.
Come on, Greg, give us another one.
Take it. I'd say do a Stilton blue burger. To me, that's the ultimate.
Shropshire.
Shropshire.
I like Shropshire, yeah.
That's the ultimate burger.
We need another component with it, though. What's going to be the next component?
Oh, you need like hot jalapenos or something on top
Oh.
of it. That'd be me.
Yeah.
Shropshire and jalapenos. That'd be like the bomb.
And mushrooms.
Add mushroom, yeah.
Mushroom onion. You could add that too.
So there's a great website from the
And like melt the jalapenos into the Shropshire on top.
Yeah.
Chop them up.
Hey, am I in on this contest?
I buy you a burger too.
Too bad the grill's not on right now.
No, we can try some burgers right
Or
now.
we don't have Shropshire.
We should do that next time. If
Yeah,
you would have
let's
let
do
me
it.
know, I would have brought burger appropriate wine, so we could have done,
That's a great idea.
Let's do a
burger tasting with a
wine.
bunch of Malbecs and Cabs and
Let's
new
do
Lava
that.
Cap
Let's
Petite
do it.
Syrah. I mean, we got
do
like,
that.
Invite some
I'm
guests
thinking
in.
Lava Cap Petite Syrah with a Shropshire mushroom, onion, and
Yeah.
jalapeno. That sounds like.
Greg, are you free on a Friday to do a burger tasting and wine tasting? Greg just said goat cheese with scallions mixed in the meat. I like goat cheese.
Oh, well, that sounds very much like a Serbian or a Greek lamb burger. That's how we make them at my
I'm
house.
in, Teresa said.
Usually, Nick, you're usually here on Fridays or Wednesdays. Those are the
depends.
2 days that
It
you
depends.
usually that you,
I mean,
you
if
come back
we
and
schedule
forth.
something ahead of time, then we can, easily.
Wednesdays were closed. That's why I chose Wednesday today.
This
This week,
weekend
but-
on Saturday, I'm pouring at Narrowsburg Wine and Spirits from 3 to 6.
wow.
They carry a bunch of my wine, so I'm literally.
So if
driving
you're
out
in
to
Sullivan County,
stop by Narrowsburg Wine and Spirits, free wine, 3 to 6 on Saturday.
free wine tasting with Nick.
Really good wine.
Yeah. So we buy wine from a lot of distributors, but we really like to buy wine from small independent. All of our wines are small independent producers, but it even helps when it's with a small independent company. Now, the great thing about Nick is you're a one-man show.
A glorified one-man show. Yeah,
Yeah.
There's a great woman to be behind every great man. So my
Yeah.
wife runs the office. My mother-in-law does the books, but I do the rest of it.
Yeah, you don't have salespeople out there.
I source the wine. I sell the wine. I'm
Yeah.
on the road 4 days a week, and that's the part that I really love. This is what makes me tick.
Yeah.
The interaction, whether it's on Facebook Live or not, I still enjoy it. I think we approach this again. I'm sort of more like a summer wine soiree today. Wines that I think have more complexity, body structure, yet may work better as summer wine. So, Chianti from Fattoria al Muro. Sometimes new is better than old. Recently, they allowed the blending of Merlot in Chianti legally.
Really?
10% Merlot, and you won't believe what it does to the fruit.
How long is, folks? If you follow this, so Chianti is the Sangiovese grape. They've
And
always,
the back label says it actually.
they've always allowed another grape to go in there, haven't they?
Canaiolo.
Up to
And then you have
10%.
The other grapes, correct. There's
Other
not
grapes.
just Canaiolo. There's several other grapes.
Some other
we're not
grapes,
gonna
but
get into.
90% I think needs to be Sangiovese typically.
I forget if it's for DOCG Chianti or Chianti Classico, but each different Chianti region has its own rules.
It has its own rules, but basically it's about 90%
So up until
Sangiovese.
recently, the only way you could bottle a Merlot or put a Merlot into anything would not allow you to label it as Chianti. That changed. I don't know how many. It was very recent, several years ago. And Il Muro for me is one of the first producers that have seen that. It's 90% Sangiovese, 10% Merlot. The way it rounds out the wine, it's fantastic. It just makes it so much. You're not losing anything to Chianti that the grape Sangiovese has to offer.
Right.
What you're really gaining is what the Merlot actually adds to the mix.
So I find Chianti a lot of times to be very dry, and I think the Merlot in here is really softening it. And
Rounding it out, softening it, and adding just the right amount of fruit, so you don't get that dry, earthy. Tempranillo can do the same thing.
right,
But the beauty of Sangiovese is that it's kind of like Tempranillo's has slightly higher natural acidity as a red wine compared
Yes.
to average. So it's so versatile, whether it's seafoods or it's tomato sauce or things that maybe wouldn't be good to pair up with a Cabernet or a Pinot Noir. I think Chianti really fills the gap, and it's a huge seller. I mean,
Chianti is
huge category.
I was going to say it's probably the most known Italian wine.
Italian wines sell incredibly well anywhere in New York. Sometimes better than French wines.
Yeah, hear that, Greg? Italian wines sell better than French wines. We all have an ongoing thing with Greg and Jenny, French versus Italian. So when we get together with them, it's open one French, one Italian.
Pour her some more.
Yes.
Is that for me?
Yeah, you meant to chat about just recently Chianti allowed Merlot to start being blended in. So this is 90% Sangiovese, 10% Merlot. It just adds what you want, like you were saying before. It gets rid of that dry, abrasive edge that Chianti has. Sometimes have for some people, and it really fleshes it out, rounds it out, gives it a little more fruit. It's perfect.
And honestly, when I drink wine from Tuscany, I'd rather drink an IGT. I like...
Up until recently, the only way you could get Merlot was IGT.
IGT.
And now it's being more, institutionalized, if you were, being accepted.
So if we're throwing out some different letters out there for you, IGT, DOC, DOCG, those are the government regulations for Italian wine. So if you see Chianti DOC or Chianti DOCG, it means...
Yeah, in little translation means Denominazione Origine Controllata e Garantita. So denomination of origin controlled and guaranteed. This is a very narrow way of defining where it comes from. IGT means Indicazione Geografica Tipica, which is typical geographic indication. So it's kind of like a wider
area,
a wider growing area.
Wider.
It is not as and Europeans are very strict about their rules and laws when it comes to...
the government basically dictates, it's basically a trademark. If you call your wine Chianti, you have to make it the way the government dictates the wine has to be made, based upon 500 years of culture in that region and them knowing what works.
Only allowed grapes, aging it so long, all those other things.
Aging in the bottle before release or not aging in the bottle. So all of this stuff is very strict. So the IGT regulation allows them to break through the barriers of the classic, of the traditions, and say, you know what, we're going to plant Merlot, and we're going to
Cabernet and other grapes.
Yeah, we're going to plant what we want here and make what we want. Sure, we're still going to make a Chianti, we're going to make a Brunello, but we're going to make this IGT that is a super Tuscan, that they're calling some of these IGTs, and pack it with Cabernet, which is not a grape of that region. And they do this all throughout Italy. So if you see an IGT, don't think that this wine is a downgraded wine. It's just they're expressing a new way of making wine that the government hasn't recognized.
And sometimes that changes, as in this case, where you have Merlot being blended, and it's allowed by the regulations to be,
because Merlot has been grown in Chianti. It's been grown into Tuscany. Yeah,
we have Bonamico, one of our other properties we represent in that area of Tuscany, Lucca. They have documented proof of French varietals being planted way back in 1816, 1817. So there's a history of French varietals, especially Bordeaux varietals, being planted.
So they're planting it anyway, and it's there, and more are planting it.
And now it's become much more accepted now that it does well. People have been experimenting with it. Obviously, I don't think somebody just decided one day to blend 10% Merlot into their Chianti. They've obviously been playing with that for a while.
Right.
So the rules allowed it, and all of a sudden now it's, hey, let's do it ourselves. So.
Back.
Oh, I don't know if we tasted this last time. I'm gonna throw you for a loop right now.
So we've gone from Alsace. We've gone from Alsace. We've gone, ooh, yes. Let's
so I
taste
have
that
the
again.
red as well. So,
yes.
The label, if you like horses, is beautiful. Number one.
What do we have? We have the
little
Cabernet,
reds.
right?
We have the red.
The red.
Which I have both. Yeah, here, let's do a little reds.
So we're going on to rosé next. A French rosé.
Yeah, kind of throwing everybody for a loop here. This is...
Don't forget to keep the burger ideas coming, people. What is your favorite burger idea? Not necessarily something we've made here in the past, but something that you'd like to see on the menu that will run as a special. If we use your idea, we will we'll buy you a burger. We'll buy you that burger.
Stick your nose in the glass. What kind of Jolly Rancher do you get?
So good.
What kind of Jolly Rancher? Quick.
Watermelon.
A little cherry through there, maybe?
I was going to say cherry.
It's cherry watermelon blend.
Speaking of Jolly Ranchers, because the first thing when you mention Jolly Ranchers, I think
That's what I get on the nose.
I think of Zima.
Oh, no, that's like artificial. No.
No, Zima.
Yeah, but Zima is like that 1993 comeback right now.
It is. Zima, they're making Zima again.
Really?
Yes.
I thought that they stopped making that like 20 years ago.
They stopped making it like 2007. They stopped making it. But when you were kids, you took Zima, you dropped the Jolly Rancher in it to flavor it, because it had no really flavor.
No.
You flavored it with whatever you wanted. So they're making like an anniversary edition of Zima, and a big company owns a brand.
Hi, Janine. We miss you. Nick says hi too.
So yeah, so Zima's coming back this year. I'm not sure how long they're making it for, but I read that in one of those business magazines.
So I thought the transition from this wine to the last wine to this wine would be good because this is actually it's coastal Provence, but it's known as the Rhone River Valley Delta, or the Camargue region, well known for their dressage horses.
Camargue, okay, that's the region. Right there's the region, Camargue.
Escape started in the 12th century by the Knights Templar, so it's been around for a while.
Love
And
avocado.
the beauty about it is that it's color, alcohol content, 12% alcohol, everything about it looks traditional Provençal, but it's really not. It's 70% Merlot and 30% Caladoc. Caladoc is a cross between Grenache Noir and Malbec.
Interesting.
So it's a little fruitier. It's a little more structured on the palate and gives it a little touch more length. But yeah, I like the Jolly Rancher thing on the nose. That really.
So Jen just said, love avocado, maybe a Southwestern theme burger. That Southwestern's a popular type of cuisine, and avocado is always popular. That's a great idea. Is there another component that we can specifically add to that? Jack would go great. Avocado, Jack.
So that could do jalapenos as
Chipotle
well. I like spicy.
Chipotle mayo, bacon
mayo.
could go with
yeah,
that.
gotta do Chipotle mayo.
We make Chipotle mayo by the gallon
so
here.
good. I put it
So,
on a lot.
It's like it's way better just to dip your fries into.
It's like when you make mashed potatoes, Chipotle mayo.
Oh yeah, it just makes it's like bacon. It makes everything taste
You grill a
better.
piece of salmon, Chipotle mayo.
Yeah, it's so good.
Grilled cheese, Chipotle
But
mayo.
it's tasty. It's really good.
Yeah, so we just need to come up with a couple more components. A Southwestern with avocado would be great.
So Jen, if you can think of anything else, or anybody out there can think of other components to the Southwest, maybe some black beans.
I thought about some type of...
Black beans and avocado on top of a
Black
burger?
beans would fall off, so you can make a black bean burger.
How about a black bean salsa?
Black bean salsa.
Tomatoes.
We could do one of those crazy layered burgers. Maybe add like a little pulled pork or something on top, or a little, like a carnitas burger where you add some pulled pork on top and then layer. I don't know. It's just
So
chilies.
I love carnitas as well.
So Jen says chilies. Chilies are. Remember when we lived in Colorado? Come September, on a lot of street corners they'd sit there and hand roasted chilies with those drums. I miss that, and I think I've always wanted to buy one of those drums for here
hand-roasted
and
chilies?
just hand roast chilies.
Black bean salsa, see?
Black bean. I love black beans, and I love black bean salsa. But I would love to sit out there and roast chilies in the fall time. I'd love that smell you'd smell from blocks
it's kind of like
away.
when I walked up and smelled the
smoker.
smoker with the brisket out
Right.
there. It's just. It's like in the cartoon where you have that little wisp of smoke kind of just guide you where you need to go next.
Right,
it's so
right.
good.
It's just
it kind of pinches you by the nose and tells you where you need to go. Yeah.
What is this rosé? I was gonna say rosé burger. What is this rosé retail for?
Same thing as actually both the Vouvray and the Riesling we tasted
around
before.
16-ish.
About $17, I'd say. To be fair. Very refreshing, but it's got just a little bit of that extra meat, given the fact that you got a lot of Merlot fruit in there.
So rosés have been on a major comeback the last 5-6 years.
It's huge. Now it's a year-round category, and
Yeah, and don't be confused, people, with
White
a sweet
Zinfandel.
rosé, a white Zinfandel. Totally different. These are dry,
fruity, refreshing.
wines.
The color throws people off, right? Because you think sweet.
You think blush,
Right.
or blush wine, or white Zinfandel,
Yeah,
right?
but it's not white Zinfandel
Yeah.
at all. It's actually rosé, and they're usually typically pretty dry.
Yep. But more full body than.
Full bodied, a little fruit sometimes.
I like it because I think it's more universal with food, rosés, and
I like it because
not
it's got a red component to it.
it's not as big as
But
red.
it's not as big as red and not as heavy as red, but it still is chilled and has that white characteristic that I like.
Right. Which I totally agree. And when we go out, the first thing we look for is rosé.
Yep.
Because if they have a good rosé by the glass, you know their wine list is good. That's
Well,
how I
if
usually
they
judge.
paid attention.
That's what I usually judge
But I
a
think if they
restaurant wine
have
list
a
by.
rosé now, right? Most places never had rosé before.
No, it's never had.
So now, if a place has a rosé,
If they have a good rosé, the rest of their wines are going to be good. Is how I judge.
Yeah.
Typically, a rule for me.
Yeah.
Not sure how true that is, but I like rosé.
yeah.
So Nick, I just came up with a theory that I do. if you go to a restaurant and they have a good rosé by the glass, you can assume they've taken care with their other wine selections. If they haven't, because I like to start at the rosé. Like you said, rosé is a year-round category.
Yes.
We like to drink rosé all the time as well. So I think if they've taken the time to pick a good rosé, they know more about wine than the average restaurant.
I think overall, wine by the glass selection really says a lot about how much care you're taking regarding not just your wines, but kind of like you guys. You really care regarding where all the stuff that you serve to your customers that you feature in your restaurant comes from. Whether it's grass-fed beef that's local. Obviously, you have local wines, but not all wines can be local. So the next best step, kind of like what I do, is to take that, local but global, where there's producers that make great wines from all over the world that would love to be featured in restaurants in New York as well. And they're people that really care about their property, usually family estates. All of that kind of intertwines. That's why it's important to find suppliers, whether wine or beef or cheese or produce, like you guys do. That care. No, they care. You
about their product.
You can't find local stuff and everything you need for your restaurant 24/7. So
can't.
it's a matter of finding suppliers that really care about where their stuff comes from, so that you can extend that. So maybe if it's not available locally, it's made. Like you're not going to get a good Malbec from the Hudson Valley.
Right.
Chances are it's very difficult to get a really good Pinot Noir. So certain things you have to go elsewhere. They don't have seafood in the Hudson Valley. You're going to have.
They don't have salt in the Hudson Valley.
Correct.
So we buy salt from a single mine, source verified from Utah, as opposed to buying Himalayan salt, which is good, but there's over 60 different mine companies in the Himalayas. And you don't know if it's single source. You don't know who's mining it, what happens. It has a label
when the
on
sourcing becomes muddled, then you ideally go to a small family producer, and you have some, verification of provenance and where it comes from.
Right, exactly.
All right, last but definitely not least, let's pop this sucker open to remind you guys about this. I love the way this drinks. Again, it's a summer red that has loads of complexity and has personality and flavor, and yet it doesn't have necessarily the weight. It's not heavy.
Hi, Charlene. How's it going? So this is the red counterpart, which we have on our list here.
Yeah, this is Marcelin, Caladoc, and Syrah. Marcelin is a cross between Grenache and Cabernet. Caladoc is a cross between Grenache Noir and Malbec, and then a little bit of Syrah blended in. Just the aromatics on this wine are off the hook.
Right, yeah.
For me, at least, I just love it.
Greg Berger, is that my wine? Greg, it could be your wine. This could easily be your wine. It's French. Jenny would probably love this.
You like horses, Greg?
Yeah, Greg does like. Hi, Paul. Paul, you're close, Paul. You can swing on down and taste some. Greenfield Park is not that far. So don't forget, folks, please keep listing some burger options. We want to add a couple more burgers to our special list. Burgers that have always done well in the past, a lamb burger, a venison burger, elk burgers. Those exotic meats have always done fantastic. The problem is they're price prohibitive. And you're talking twice the price of regular ground beef, and regular ground beef to begin with is expensive. So
what if you and I go into Pennsylvania and we knocked out a couple of wild boar ourselves? And is that doable if we serve some fresh wild boar burgers? That's one of my favorite.
Are there wild boar in Pennsylvania?
Yeah, if you go, it's not in New York, New Jersey yet, but they're literally all over the country. Southern and southwestern PA. They have guided
really
for wild boar. I was looking into it for a friend of mine.
Now I know we're close tonight, Paul. We won't be here. So one of the suppliers, one of the vendors that we use, they have wild boar from Texas. And so I was really intrigued about how they can get commercially produced, or enough to sell commercially. And he said that the Texas government pays people to go out and do this. They pay them to get rid of the boar.
The problem in the South, they're not really wild. In a lot of instances, there's wild boar. But what happened in the South is that you're getting these massive, they're feral pigs, basically, where you get these huge domesticated sows that have escaped that end up breeding with wild boar, and you get 300, 400, 500-pound monsters. They're not even wild boar anymore, because wild boar traditionally, I don't know, 200, maybe 250 pounds is a big wild male boar. That's about as big as they'll get.
Right.
You get these, so and that's what you technically see closer to here. Texas and in the South have a massive problem with wild boar. They're destroying crops. They're just, they'll pay you to get rid of them.
This wine is, it's really nothing like I've ever tasted before as far as reds.
It's not.
It's so unique. We bought a case of this a couple months ago. We've sold a few bottles. I think it's like high 30s on our list. Everybody who's bought it loves it.
Yeah.
They love it.
Sometimes I think wine drinkers need to be a little more adventurous, because their palates tend to be. Your palates get way more adventurous than your mind is when it comes to wine drinking. And I think you should just experiment, try new things. You'll be surprised of how much you will like more so than not like.
And this is what I tell people all the time. You don't have to be you don't have to be knowledgeable on wine. You just have to be open to experiment. Just be open.
Wine for a lot
of
people
palate.
is very, it's intimidating.
It's very intimidating.
People are intimidated, and they feel like they don't know a lot, or if they say this tastes like something, like somebody's going to look at them weird. And I just feel comfortable with what your palate tells you, and go that way.
Yep.
Don't be afraid to experiment. I think
Jim Rosen from Washington. What's up, Jim? Jim, what is one of your favorite burgers? I'd be happy to buy your burger, Jim, if we use it on the menu here. So I know you got a lot of good ideas there, Jim. So one of my first industry wine events it was an in-house wine tasting, and the wine sales rep like you came. I think this was in Colorado. It was in Colorado, and I had the privilege of joining the management team to taste wine, and they're sitting there sniffing and this and that, and I smell this, I smell that, and I'm tasting. I'm like, I taste red.
I don't taste anything.
I taste red, and there's nuances of this and this. That's literally how I started. I'm like, do I speak up at that point? So I made a joke out of it. I'm like, yeah, I taste red. And, and of course it comes with time. But I think the one thing that people need to understand is you don't have to like what other people like. It's your taste, it's your palate.
There's a reason why there's so much wine out there. There's something for everybody's palate.
And just because so-and-so gives it a high rating or a low rating doesn't mean that the wine's for you or not for you. It's your personal taste. As you taste better wines, better produced wines, your palate will evolve and say, okay, I used to like that wine a few years ago, and I don't know why now, because now I've tasted other things.
I like the word evolve versus change. Your palate continues to evolve as you drink more, try new things, expand your horizons, and age. Things change.
So Jim just gave us an idea from Washington. He says a Thai peanut with spicy pepper jelly, smoked pork belly, and cilantro.
Oh,
Jim, are you coming to make that for us?
I like that spiced pepper, the spiced duck sauce that they make for Thai. That's really good.
Okay.
That's awesome. That's another great dipping sauce. What's that crushed hot pepper that they have with duck sauce mixed? That's delicious too.
Yeah, pork belly on a burger would be really nice. That's essentially bacon, right? A lot of people love bacon on their burgers. Why not put pork belly, which is essentially
Jim
bacon?
loves pork belly. Right, Jim? Come make it for us, Jim.
Well, guys, I'd love to hang out all afternoon. It's always fun here, but duty calls. I gotta head on.
We have to get this stuff too. We have a basketball game with Justin. We got 120 pounds of brisket I have to contend with in the smoker.
We're gonna go out tonight. It was our anniversary yesterday.
Yes, it was our anniversary, so we're going out tonight.
Yes, if you're going tonight, go to Velo.
Yes.
Say hi to my friend.
He'll be here in the morning. All right, let us know what time we have to pick you up, Jim.
Bring a chef coat. I need some help.
All right, I guess it's time to say goodbye. And
Nick, as always, a pleasure.
Thank you, guys.
Always a pleasure.
Well. I always enjoy the visits.
Great Riesling today. Awesome rosé. Vouvray, which we bought already, is great. So yeah. So
and
if
the Prosecco.
And the Prosecco.
Oh, Prosecco.
Yeah.
I forgot about the Prosecco. So if you have an idea for a burger on our menu, leave a comment there. If it makes it on our special list, we will buy you that burger. It's a great deal. We'll leave this obviously this is supposed to be up for a couple days.
Go
We'll
to
look
our
at it.
website and win a burger for a year contest.
Yes,
Sign
follow
up
the
for it.
link in the description of this video. You can win a burger for a year, It's like a burger a week for a year. That's 52 burgers next year here at Aroma Time. Go through, follow the automation, fill out, give us your information. But since we don't like to have any losers, every single person that enters that contest will win something.
Don't tell them.
So you'll at least win a burger. So everybody go there, sign up, and put up with our emails for the next month until we get a
win food at Aroma Time.
You win
Come
food
on,
at Aroma Time,
you know, how can you go wrong?
Hope
Yep.
everybody has a great day.
Yep.
And thanks for joining us.
Cheers.